Have you covered Rockstar yet? That's how I became a Steelheart fan. Oh my God, thank you. I forgot to put Rockstar on here. I love Rockstar. I was a Steelheart fan, and I'm not bragging, okay? It sounds like I'm bragging, all right? I'm one-upping, but no. It's just a fact. Because of my age and because in the 80s, and me and Christian, we've talked back and forth about 80s metal so much. Steelheart was one of my favorite bands from the late 80s. They came out with their first album, self-titled album. By the way, if you want an album that has the best production you will ever hear for an 80s metal album, the drums just are freaking earth-shattering. The guitars are lightning-inducing, and you got the greatest male vocalist on the planet Earth. Get the first Steelheart album, you will thank me. Oh my God. Miljenko, I can never say his last name. Miljenko Matijević, I can't remember, but I was obsessed with Steelheart back in the day. I love that first album so much, and I love the second album, and I liked that in the second album they went for a more gritty feel, and the production is almost completely different. It's almost like they're going for more of a grungier sound with the second album, but more importantly, the songs are still just as strong. I saw The Accident. I was at that concert. And I comment, if you look, you can find that Accident on YouTube that ended the original lineup of Steelheart. It was on Halloween night in 1992, I think, and they were opening for Slaughter. I was at the concert. I was living in Denver, Colorado at the time. I had just joined the military earlier that year, and at that time I was a massive Steelheart fan. I was obsessed with that band. I like Slaughter, because of my Kiss background and everything. There's a connection there. I'm not going to go into that connection, but yeah. I loved Slaughter, but man, I really, really loved Steelheart. So I remember I was so excited. I went to this show. I'm sitting there watching it, and they literally did, I think, 3 or 4 songs. And then all of a sudden, the lighting fixture, it was like a 20-foot metal lighting fixture. It starts swaying. And they're doing Dancing in the Fire. I still remember the song that they were doing. They actually started playing a little bit of I'll Never Let You Go, and the crowd just went nuts because that song was so huge. They did like maybe 30 seconds of I'll Never Let You Go, and then for some reason, they stopped and started going with Dancing in the Fire. And then during that song, that freaking lighting rig started swaying, and it came down and it splatted Miljenko like a freaking pancake, and we all watched it, and you could hear the crowd as the thing was swaying and him not seeing it. The crowd was just getting louder and louder and louder and louder, and oh my God, it's still to this day one of the most shocking things I've ever seen live at a show. And I can't believe somebody caught it with a video camera, and it's still on YouTube to this day. But one thing that always kind of threw me for a loop was Slaughter comes out after. They did a really great show. This is when they had Blas Elias, as their drummer and everything. And I thought Slaughter would at least give the audience an update if they knew anything, like how's Miljenko doing, because that was a pretty tragic event. And it fucked him up really, really bad. Like it ended Steelheart for a while. And it took him like years to fully recover from that. It like broke his back, and I think it broke his arm, and it screwed him up really bad. And I don't want to say he almost died, but it just really screwed him up. So little did I know that was the last of that lineup, and I love that original lineup. And then they come back like 4 years later, and they record that song that's in Rockstar. And they recorded that, I think, like 5 years before Rockstar came out. So Rockstar comes out, they reach out to Miljenko because his voice is undeniable. The guy, like some stars, some singers, their stars shine so bright that they cannot be ignored. Let alone, because if Steelheart would have came out 5 years earlier, they would have been massive. They would have been massive just because of the quality of the songs and the talent of the singer. But they came out right before grunge took over. So Miljenko has always been a victim of the current landscape, right? They come out way too late in the game for that. And then Rockstar comes out and they have all these plans for the song, the main song from Rockstar, which immediately, I saw Rockstar not knowing that Miljenko was a part of it. Immediately when Mark Wahlberg gets in that booth and you hear that voice, within 3 seconds I was like, oh my fucking God, that's Miljenko. His voice is just that amazing and that unique. And as soon as I heard that voice come out, because obviously it wasn't Mark Wahlberg. I love the movie, but that really sent it home for me. And I didn't know where the fuck Miljenko had been, you know? And I was like, oh my God, this is a chance for them to, but the door was shut again because what happened? 9/11 happened. 9/11 happened and they delayed the release, and I don't think they had all these marketing plans for the song and it was going to bring back Steelheart in a big way. All of it was stopped. They put a stop to it. All it was shelved. You can find interviews with Miljenko on YouTube, and he talks about this whole thing and all these plans that were just canceled because of 9/11. So he's always had the worst luck. Like, you got the most talented singer on the planet Earth, especially back in his heyday, but he's always had time against him. You know, there's always been some kind of, something in the way, right? But man, love it. So yeah, but Walk Hard, oh my God, hilarious. And that what I just said, that'll be my Rockstar bit. I love Rockstar. And I like biopic parodies more than I like, even though that's not like a comedy, Rockstar. I like that it did sort of a biopic, even though it's kind of based on Judas Priest when Rob Halford left the band. So they ended up making this movie Rockstar about that whole scenario. Rob Halford leaving the band and then them getting this singer, kind of like today with what we do with YouTube, what Journey did with YouTube, and they got the singer from the Philippines, right? That's sort of what Rockstar is about, and it's a cool idea for a movie. So Christian says, the funny thing about the song We All Die Young is they changed the arrangement for the movie. But after Rockstar came out, Steelheart performs the song the way it was done for the movie ever since. Yeah, and I much prefer the movie version over the original version. The production's not up to the standard that the first two Steelheart albums are, right? Would you agree with that, Christian? But the song's still great, but you can hear it in the production. The production from the movie, it sends the song in the stratosphere. It really does.